Good morning, everybody. Jerry Mullen, Soul Tribe. I want to talk to everybody this morning about your words. As somebody that speaks a lot for a living, sales and business, every word means something. A lot of people don't believe in magic or they believe in witchcraft or whatever. And the majority of us think that stuff's weird, but if you really research it, if you break it all down, what are we doing? I look at it as your word is your wand. If you keep speaking about something that you want in your life, you're going to get it. If you had a car accident and that's all you can talk about for the next 2 weeks, you're going to have another car accident. You're bringing that to you. You're inviting that into your world. That's the thought that you're holding on to. I used to think that wishing was ridiculous. You know, what am I going to wish for? I wish I had $1,000,000. Wishing doesn't help anything. My dad had a funny saying, wish in one hand and shit in the other, see which one fills up the fastest. I was like, the wish does. I didn't know it was talking about solid because I was like, the wish does faster than pooping because you gotta, when you don't know to know. I started really learning different vocabulary words. When you see people and a lot of misunderstandings from a third party perspective, that person, if they would have softened it up and just put it straight out, this person wouldn't have already been frustrated from another situation and he would have been balanced and smooth, calm, cool, collected. This deal would have been easy. They both would have had compromise, give and take. I was fortunate. I grew up at a place called Katie Daycare. So I would like to say that my parents were absolutely end all be all of all parenting, but that's not the case. It takes a village to raise an idiot or kids, and that's what happened. Growing up, I adopted families like Kevin Hill and his family, Buddy Hammond and his family, and over the last 35 years, these people have been integral in me growing up. I got to learn different aspects, see different parts of life and these different situations, and they were all different from mine. But I was open and welcome to whatever they had to teach, whatever they had to share. It's really unique whenever you bring somebody into your family dynamic and they just fit. I don't think people want to fit anymore. I think everybody's so afraid. There's so much fear in the world. Date sites, that's where you're going to find the most amount of fear. I met my ex on a date site, and I was on there for probably 3 or 4 weeks, and I didn't get a date. I didn't get a phone number, from all the others. There was a waiting period. We just want to text each other back and forth. I think they refer to them as pen pals. They're afraid to give their phone number. They don't meet. It's like, how are you going to make a connection? Well, I don't ever meet anybody within the first 2 weeks. Well, okay, if we were out on the street, I have enough confidence and I'm secure enough that I would walk up to you, I would talk to you, I would ask for your phone number, you would absolutely give it to me. And I don't think you'd make me wait 2 weeks at that point. Now that we're in the digital age, everybody stay back, the COVID deal, or there's killers or whatever. Yes, these bad things happen, but if we're constantly thinking, because we watch it on TV all the time, that this is going to be our reality, does it make it so? No. I'm fortunate to learn different types of faith. I knew that with all the different countries in the world, there couldn't be just one central religion for everybody because the different languages and customs and courtesies. Or is there? We're just not touching on it. They all have a lot of things in common. There's prayer, there's forgiveness, there's studying and knowledge, There's congregations and collectives and coming together, and then there's sharing. I love the concept. I love the concept. What do you have for people with what they call ADD or ADHD? I don't have either one of those. Not that they're bad things, but in my situation, uh, the VA thinks that I've got ADD or ADHD. So I've got a conversation with my doctor, and he says, "You show all the signs for ADD and ADHD." And I was like, "Okay, but an injury caused my problem." Then he's like, "Well, it couldn't cause a problem to this degree." I'm like, "Okay, well, what you're saying to me is that, Jerry, you skin up your knee and got diabetes." I don't think that's how that works. I don't know for sure, for sure. I didn't go to medical school or whatever, but I don't think that's how it works. So if I had my skull fractured and a liquid leaked out, and you're like, "Oh, now you're ADD," did that illness, was that a result of the injury? No, the injury was an injury. Illness is an illness. Because technology is the way that it is, it winds everybody up. And then you have subliminal messages, subliminal advertising. When you do things that you wouldn't normally do, and it's automatic, it's kind of like an autopilot button, that's when you have to unplug from technology, unplug from the digital everything. Get out in nature, get away. The air, animals, get away. When you've calmed your mind and you don't have that stimuli overload, now you're grounded. And when you have conversations, you don't overreact. You're not angry. You're not upset. You're not trying to be offended. I understand respect. I was taught manners at a very early age, and they were instilled in a way that I would carry them even today. If you give me a lesson that lasts 45 years and it still works, it's still applicable, it's a good lesson. At no point should this lesson ever be highlighted in public. "Oh my gosh, that guy opened the door for that lady. Oh my gosh, that guy said thank you. Oh my gosh, that guy walked up and tried to shake my hand, but I backed him off because I don't want to get a disease." If it's meant to be, it's meant to be. It's going to happen, it's going to happen. In history, we've had plagues and different types of illnesses. We always recovered polio, smallpox, chickenpox, whooping cough. And I wonder, how did those people make it all those years going through all that adversity and those struggles with none of the stuff that we had today, but each other? Keep it simple. Go back to scratch. Simplify the matter. Being a good person starts with you. It starts with me. Before I go out in the world, I wake up, I have my cup of coffee. I've got a little morning routine that I do to get woke up and get ready for the day. Go through my list of tasks that need to be completed. I do my exercises, I do my breathing, I do everything that it takes to make me a whole person. Now, when I walk out of that door, I'm confident, I'm calm, cool, collected, and I'm enthusiastic, and I'm excited about the day. Who am I going to meet? What kind of experiences we're going to have? If there's no expectation, you can't be let down. If you try to control everything, you're going to miss wonderful opportunities. It took me 44 years to learn that. Finesse, not force. I felt like I had to get something done so fast because I was placing my life and all of my decisions on, my dad may not be here, he may pass on, and I don't want that, so I need to make all this stuff happen. And then you get it. It's not about one person. Yes, everybody has a path. Everybody has a path. Everybody does. You can't tell me my path is bad because you don't know it. You didn't walk it. Yes, I gave you a little bit of insight, but that doesn't give you any certification to say, okay, well, this is you and that's you because I've seen a couple of screenshots of your life, so I know you. You don't. You can feel me. You can try to understand me. You can ask me questions. I can elaborate and give you more detail, but I still have my own path. And I'm learning it step by step. A lot of people are fortunate. They got to find this stuff out early. Like Buddy. A friend of mine named Buddy was a hard worker growing up. He was cool. He had his own way. He didn't follow nobody. He didn't need anybody. And I thought that was just the coolest thing. But he could draw. He had construction. He had building capabilities. And it was like, wow. He always had money on him. And it was like, where do you get all this money? He was like, work. You can't work. You're a kid like me. And he's like, no, I work with my grandfather. We do really good work. And actually, after high school, I got to join on and work with them for a little bit. But these soul tribe members and these soul tribe families are so important. If your kid's going to make it just on your advice alone, is that sufficient? No, it's not. Because all you have is just that knowledge that just you have. You want them to get out and see things. It's so funny. I've seen brand new parents, and they've got like a 6-7-month-old baby, and they're like, be very, very quiet, don't wake the baby up. And it's like, well, if they're used to all this noise and things bouncing around, that's going to help you down the road. Well, I can't hear my baby cry because it hurts my feelings. Babies cry. As long as they're not hungry, as long as you don't need to change the diaper, as long as you don't not having tummy problems. It's okay for them to cry. I think parents stop wanting to hear that. Instead of giving them a pacifier, here's a video game box. Here's a cell phone. Here's a YouTube channel. Here's Instagram. Here's Snapchat. Here's TikTok. Here's all these different things to just shut them up and get them out of the way. Are you connecting? Jerry, that's not your business. It's my family's. However I raise it, it's however I want to. I get that. I do. But if you're not doing your job at home, and now that problem comes out into society, and now we have to deal with that, yes, you do have a problem. If you're not disciplining your child and they don't know consequences, they might go out and get a DUI, get in a car accident and kill somebody. They have no sense. You gotta have boundaries. You have to have boundaries. Law boundaries. Personal boundaries. The personal one's the hardest one to achieve. I love people and I love energy. There's a family, the Dempsey family. I made friends with a guy named Patrick. And same as the Hill family welcoming me and their family. Have dinners over there, go places together, hang out. I love them people. They didn't have to be nice to me or tolerate me. Got to meet the brothers, Pete and Paul. Those guys were the rock stars. They had the best time because they were old enough and conscious to appreciate what they had at that time. They had the confidence to understand it. Pat and I were the two younger brothers, so there wasn't a lot of attention paid to us, so we had quite a bit of time to kind of do our own thing. But if we started to get a little bit sideways, if one of these older brothers saw you jacking up, they would absolutely get on you about it. And they were right to. It wasn't bossing us around or bullying. It's, Jerry, I know you know better than that. I know your dad wouldn't like it if you did this, but I know your dad, he's not going to go for that type of stuff. Who does that nowadays? Nobody cares. Nobody cares. If you scroll through the feed on Facebook, you see all these negative posts. Self-affirmations, I'm the greatest, I don't need nobody, blah, blah, blah. I posted a song called I Walk Alone. I really dig that song. I really dig that song. I just feel it. That's why I put out the videos. I've never been alone a day in my life. Never. Ever, ever. I've always had friends, family that I could contact, but I didn't feel it on the inside because I hadn't done the work. It's hard. The hardest person to be honest with isn't your parents, it's yourself. I got to a point of overeating. I got up to 240 pounds. Could I blame the candy bar company? Could I blame TV or video games? Or why I was so big? But I didn't see it coming. It was a gradual process. And the next thing I know, holy cow, I'm overweight. I'm miserable. I'm not happy. And at that point, it clicked. You were in the United States Army. You know how to work out. You did this for a living. Put in the work. So at night on my job, when I would do rounds for private security, it was a mile-long parking lot in a circle. I would run as far as I could run, walk a little bit. Run as far as I could run, walk a bit. Run as far as I could run and walk a bit. Now, I think my first time was 38 or 39 minutes. It wasn't quite 40, but it was really, really close. It's humbling. It's humbling when you can run a 5-minute, 45-second mile, and now that same mile takes you almost an hour. You got a problem there. It's a mountain. It's a place to start. How do you eat a hamburger? Not all at one time. One bite at a time. And so I started every day doing this routine. Next thing you know, I get a mile down, and it's 30 minutes. Within 6 weeks, I get a mile down in 20 minutes. Once you get in that habit and you see the changes and you feel the changes, you're going to stay hooked. But you got to know it's a lifestyle change. It's not a phase. It's not a fad. People always talk about people that work out. Oh, they think they got to be perfect. No. If this is your temple and this is what's going to protect you, you want it to be as strong as you can. But when you do that type of work, I think whenever I finished losing weight, when I really got to where I was just going to plateau and that's just my comfortable weight, I got down to 165 pounds, lean and strong. But I felt amazing. The confidence that comes with that is it's unmatchable. There's no pill that'll make you feel like that. There's no drink that'll make you feel like that. There's no words anybody can tell you that will make you feel like that. It's all on the inside. If you work out, you get your head clear, you focus on what do I really, 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 really want. If I was going to ask for something, say I wanted to get a job with a better pay, I would say, I want to go to a place where I can make this much money, where I can do this type of work because it pleases me, it makes me happy, and it's fun, and I could never know enough. And truth be known, I would do it for free. You figure out what that is, your gift is in there somewhere. When you figure out what that is, you find a way to share it with the rest of society. They need it. I love YouTube. Anybody, you can type anything you want to type, and there's something on there. Now, I'm not a therapist. I'm not a counselor. I'm a survivor. I made it from 1976 to 2021, still in one piece. Not all jacked up and screwed up. I get it. I'm centered, I'm focused. What I've tried to do over the last 12 years, if you understand the relationship between me and my dad, I wanted to do great things, create youth programs and events that would bring people together because that's how I grew up. And you got no idea. When I was a kid, aunts, uncles, grandma, everybody would load up and go out to the lake and we'd stay out there a couple of days. It was amazing. Family, laughing, teasing, playing. Who does that anymore? To that degree. And we loved it. Have softball games, firework parties, Thanksgiving, Christmas. And we don't do it like that anymore. I can't be seeing this by myself. There has to be people somewhere close to my age that are sitting back saying, Sherry, you're right. The world's crazy. What are we going to do? Start with each other. Start with each other. If every one of us start working on ourselves on the inside, sorting out all of our feelings, getting through all the trauma and drama, if you avoid your past, you're never going to have a future. There's things that can teach you about your past, of who you used to be and who you're going to be. If you don't understand those, you're never going to get out of your hole. I think that what I've seen a lot for people is they aim too low in life. I want to have just enough money for rent and my car payment, maybe $50 left over. That's all I need. I'm humble. That's ridiculous. It costs more than that to live. You're not supposed to be broke. You're not supposed to be begging or lacking. Be grateful. Be humble. Share. If you have everything that you want and you're happy, and you meet another person out in the world and they have everything that they want and they're happy, you've got the great makings of a relationship. They're not going to depend on each other to make themselves happy. Every morning they've got their routines to make themselves happy. And then they come together wanting to make each other happy. I believe that you can take any two strangers and put them together. It all depends on the mindset. I just recently got in a relationship. I got married. Worlds of opportunity. I'm optimistic. Put all my cards on the table. At this point in my life, I committed everything. Everything. If my wife had explained everything that I'd done and said and what I'd given her since the day that we met, every girlfriend that I've ever had in my life would hate me. Because at that point they would know I held back the whole way because I was scared. Scared. Scared of what? Scared of committing. Scared of what if they hurt me? What if they cheat on me? That's happened before. Yes, those were realities in my life. Yes, that's realities in the world. Yes, you've probably experienced or yet don't know to know. I try to control that. It's not about what that person's going to do to me. It's about what am I thinking for myself? What do I want for myself? Get down the road a little ways. Nobody wants to stub their toe. Nobody wants to look like an ass in front of their friends and family. But after the life that I've lived and the things that I've been through, I'm not going to be in a bad place. Not for a minute. When I determine that this is not for me, I'm done. And it's not because you were eating crackers in the bed. It's because you didn't fulfill yourself. You're not connected to yourself. You're not trying to be the best you can be. So you can't offer that to me. You haven't done the work yet. I've explained to you that lies change people's lives. And they still do. When you lie to me and catch me, and I catch you, I'm done. It doesn't matter how much love and how much emotion that I had for you, how much respect and adoration, and how much I've given. When you take that and you betray my trust, I'm done. I got a direct message last night after I posted the video, and somebody was like, well, if you're not married, why are you wearing a wedding ring? Because I like it, because it's cool, feels good on my hand. I just tell people, I married myself, I'm a born-again virgin. Women do that all the time, I guess it's cool, so why not? I don't have to have somebody. I don't need somebody. That's never been a thought in my mind, my whole life. I understood that I was different, and I struggled with connections because even though some people in my life tried to be nice to me, I could feel what they were really thinking. It was that disappointment or apprehension. You know, oh, he's got too much energy. Oh, he's too clingy. This, that, and the other. I was. As you grow and you educate yourself, you learn how to fulfill yourself. When you can fulfill yourself, you'll never look outside of yourself for anything else. Perfect man, perfect car, perfect relationship. It's not out there. There's no perfect. Everybody needs to quit saying the word. When you take it out of the vocabulary, there's no perfect. Something else, while you're at it, you want to get rid of the good and you want to get rid of the bad. Throw those out too. Why? If you understand life is a baseline, it is exactly what you make it. My life is hard and tough. What are you going to do about it? You can stand up and fix it? You can change it? Who do you want to become? When I was a young boy, I wanted to be great, even though I couldn't see it. I couldn't see how to be great from where I was standing, but that didn't mean I was never going to get there. I'll determine whether I wanted to try or not. I covered a lot of topics, and it's just a guy rattling. That's all. I hope that you can find some source of information, entertainment. But for the most part, just know, I'm only doing this because I really love talking, and I really do want to help people. What are you willing to share? Not everybody can completely expose themselves, or nor would they want to. But you can't have fear. What are you afraid of? If you have a God, believe in God. If you believe in that God, then what are you afraid of? If you believe in bananas, believe in bananas, but don't be afraid. You don't have to be afraid. I believe it takes three things to have everything you want in life. You have to ask for it and be specific about exactly what you want. 2, you have to visualize and see yourself already having it. And 3, this is the hardest, this messes everybody up. You have to accept it and receive it whenever it gets there. Several times throughout my life, just recently, because of all the work that I've actually accomplished, I've been told, Jerry, I'm not good enough for you. You know, I don't have the same stuff that you do. You don't need it. You don't need it. I had to earn it. I had to collect it. And it was all of these families and friends throughout my life that made sure that it happened. My parents were the centerpiece, and that was where I got my initial education and information. But if you're going to make it, you got to expand it. You have to have kids out there that want to know other kids. You have to have parents that are willing to receive other kids. I've heard both sides. I don't let any kids in my house. I don't want them hanging out with nobody so I can protect my kids. Then I see my house is a big open house for any kid that needs it. You know, I got food, I got drinks, I got games and stuff. Those parents are amazing. For a kid that needed that, it's phenomenal. I want to touch on racism. Okay? If you're racist, you got too much time on your hand, you've done zero work. When you have a brain injury and you're too much, you got too much extra, you don't get to pick the color of the people you want to hang out with. It's anybody that'll tolerate you. Now you go through life like that. Go through life like that. I don't hang out with white people. Really? What if none of them want to hang out with you because you're just too wild and too much energy? I guess my friends are the color of the rainbow because I don't look at them as color, it's their heart. It's what you give. What are you giving? What are you giving? Don't look for what you can take. Look what you can build and look what you can give. Guys, thank you very much. Time's getting short. I ran that first video a little bit too long. I think an hour was a bit much for most of you. That's okay though. To each their own. There's a lot of other content coming out. It'll be a lot better structured. But just dipping my toe in the water. Second video. We need to get that family element back together again. We need to start being a tighter community. If you let this government separate you from relationships, you let politics separate you from what you know to be true, there's your problem. It's people, it's connections, experiences, learning, mistakes. You have to make mistakes. You don't have to make the thousands that I've made. I know a lot of you are way smarter than that, and you probably don't need any of this. Most of my family and friends probably won't even watch this because they've all got it covered. That makes me happy. I'm glad that you don't need that. But at the same time, thank you for being there when I needed it. We don't always know the impressions that we leave on people. A lot of times they would never say anything. But to me, it affected me so much. It was like, these people can't go unnoticed. Why? Because they're my community. They're my family. If everybody has that, this world isn't going to be as bad as it is now, or it appears to be. Boy, I pray for the day that everybody stands up and says, we've had enough of this nonsense with the government. Let's go back the way that it was with certain aspects. Those morals, those values, those ethics. There's no limits nowadays. There's no limits. Not on TV. I got on the date site. And some of the things these women put out there on their profile is the first thing you know when you meet them. I don't get it. I don't get it. I've never met anybody where the first time you meet them, they're like, hi, my name's Susan. Don't ask for anal before the second date. I'm not paying your child support. I'm not putting any money on your books if you go to jail. And I ain't for your homies. What? You put that out there in public with your picture on it? To get a date? Who's looking at this thinking, not her. It's either first date or none. It's a pretty high standard you're setting there, buddy. My personal opinion. Wrong. Wrong. Exit only, but that's to each their own. Women, care about yourself. Have the class that your grandmothers and mothers and great-grandmothers had. Men, Seek strength and knowledge and courage from your fathers, your uncles, your grandfathers. Jerry, I don't have any of those. There's somebody out there. When you're ready for a teacher, you'll never have to look for one. They're all over the place. You have to seek it out first. If you take that first step, hey, I need to know something, there'll be somebody out there to meet you. Now, there's two things that nobody talks about. You have judgment and you have discernment. I don't judge people. I don't need to. You've heard my life story. I've got nothing, no right to judge anybody. But I can choose not to be around that type of energy. That's discernment. It's okay if I don't like what you're doing. It ain't for me. I'm going this way. I'm not offended. You don't scare me. It's not bad. That's just your thing. I'm just not into that. We go that way. I don't know. I think maybe I might rear up some of them keyboard warriors. Just know this, I'm not planted in this location, and I can literally travel wherever I want to go, whenever I want to go, and I don't back down from challenges. So, there's probably no fear of any youngsters coming up here, jacking with an old Comanche man. You'd get educated if you did. Guys, just stop being afraid. It's time to stand up. Let's take our towns and our families and our communities back. Don't just protect your own. Don't just protect your own. The way you love your family and friends, love everybody like that. When I meet people, I know them. I can feel them. When I grab your hand, that tells me a world about you. I ain't afraid of you. I know who you are. If I feel something that I don't like, discernment. Hey, I appreciate it. Nice knowing you. I wish you the absolute best. I'm down the road. I don't need to hurt your feelings. I don't need to blow you up on the internet. You know, look, this person doesn't believe exactly everything that I believe in. Good. We shouldn't. Diversity. It's a great thing. It's good to have all these differences. But the commonality is we're all somebody's son or daughter. We're all somebody's grandson, granddaughter. But we'll act like we're strangers. Like we ain't going to see each other tomorrow. This planet ain't going nowhere. If we're all on this planet 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, we go to sleep, we wake up, we're going to see each other again. This is going to happen. If in the bottom of your heart and the deepest recesses in your soul, you really, truly want to make a connection and be open with people, you'll attract them. They'll show up. But I don't think we should be isolated and separated. It takes all of us to raise all of us. Guys, I really do appreciate your time. I hope this one finds you well and you find some good content in here that'll assist you down the road. You have an amazing day.